The massive alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit on a Tuesday morning. It was 4 times larger than the International Space Station and shaped like a smooth silver oval. World leaders gathered in emergency meetings while regular people watched the sky with fear and wonder. Commander John Miller sat in a small room at the United Nations building in New York. He wore his navy blue uniform with all his medals pinned to his chest. The president had chosen him to meet the aliens because of his calm personality and 20 years of military experience. "Remember, Commander," said General Phillips, pacing behind him, "we know nothing about these beings. Be polite, but give away nothing. Earth's security is your top priority." Miller nodded. He understood what was at stake. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, but now that it was here, fear outweighed excitement. The meeting would happen through video link. Miller straightened his uniform as the large screen on the wall flickered to life. The alien that appeared looked almost like a tall, thin human with pale blue skin and large black eyes. It wore something like a silver robe with strange symbols. "Greetings, representative of Earth," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Ziv Kor, emissary of the Galactic Council. We welcome your world to the community of civilized species." Miller leaned forward. "How are you speaking our language?" The alien made a gesture that might have been a smile. "We have observed your broadcasts for decades. Understanding new species is the Council's specialty." This revelation sent a chill through the room. They had been watching Earth for years without making contact. The Council governs 217 species across this galactic sector. Ziv Kor continued, "All members benefit from our protection and technology. We require your world's formal acceptance of Council authority within 3 of your Earth days. After acceptance, we will begin integration protocols." Miller frowned. "This is moving too fast. We need time to consider what membership would mean for Earth." The alien's expression changed slightly. "Deliberation is unnecessary. All species accept Council authority. The benefits are obvious." "Not to us," Miller said firmly. "We need to learn more about your Council before making any decisions." In another room, Susan Clark watched the exchange with growing worry. As Earth's top expert in theoretical alien communication, she noticed subtle changes in the aliens' posture and tone. "They're getting agitated," she whispered to her colleague. "Something about our response isn't what they expected." On screen, the alien was speaking more rapidly. "Perhaps you misunderstand. Council membership is not optional for developing worlds. We provide protection from hostile forces in exchange for reasonable resource quotas and compliance with Council directives." Miller sat straighter in his chair. "On Earth, we negotiate as equals or not at all. We won't rush into agreements without understanding the terms. We need time, months, not days, to properly consider your offer." The alien went completely still. When it spoke again, its voice had a different quality. "In the Council's 50,000 years of expansion, no species has ever rejected initial diplomatic contact. This is unprecedented." "We're not rejecting diplomacy," Miller clarified. "We're rejecting your timeline. Earth will decide its own fate on its own schedule." Ziv Kor stood abruptly. "I must consult with the Council. This response was not in our predictive models." The screen went dark. Susan Clark rushed into the main room. "Commander, I think there's been a terrible misunderstanding. Their language patterns suggest they see our caution as open defiance." General Phillips scoffed. "Good. They need to know humans won't be pushed around." Miller wasn't so sure. "What are you saying, Dr. Clark?" "I'm saying they've never encountered a species that didn't immediately accept their terms. They don't see this as negotiation. They see it as rejection." Susan's face was pale. "And I don't think they know how to handle rejection." Outside, the silver ship began to move, accelerating away from Earth at impossible speed. Miller watched it disappear into the darkness of space. "I hope we haven't just made a terrible mistake." No one in that room could have known that humanity's first diplomatic encounter had just changed the course of galactic history forever. 3 weeks passed since the alien ship vanished from Earth's orbit. The world's governments scrambled to prepare for whatever might come next. Military bases went on high alert. Scientists worked day and night to understand the small amount of data collected during the brief encounter. Far away, on the massive space station that served as the Galactic Council headquarters, Zivkor stood before the council chamber. 200 alien representatives sat in tiered seats that rose high above the speaking floor. Some looked almost human, while others resembled insects, reptiles, or things no human could easily describe. The humans rejected our standard approach, Zivkor explained. They demanded more time and claimed they would only negotiate as equals. Murmurs filled the chamber. Such behavior was unheard of from a newly discovered species. In the highest tier sat Axel Thurik of the Voraxian Empire, his scaled skin reflecting the chamber's lights. Unlike the others who showed shock, he seemed pleased by this news. Perhaps the council's influence is not as absolute as we believed, Axel Thurik said softly to his aide. This could be useful. Back on Earth, Captain Frank Winters walked through the hangar where the prototype warship Defiant was being completed ahead of schedule. The ship combined Earth's best technology with new ideas, inspired by what little they had learned from scanning the alien vessel. How soon can we launch? Winters asked his chief engineer. 2 weeks if we skip some of the safety tests, the engineer replied. Is that really necessary, sir? Winters looked up at the sleek hull of the ship. The president thinks so. We need to show we can defend ourselves if those aliens come back with demands. Across the base, Dr. Alice Morgan sat alone in her lab. On her computer screen were images copied from the alien ship's broadcast. Unlike the military personnel preparing for war, she saw something different in the data. It's all here, she whispered to herself. The answer to clean energy, advanced medicine, even how to repair our atmosphere. The aliens had accidentally included background information in their transmission. Most people focused on the alien speaking, but Morgan noticed the screens behind him. Though the text was alien, the diagrams were clear enough to a trained scientist. She picked up her phone to call her supervisor, but stopped. The military was in charge now. Would they care about potential benefits when they were focused on threats? On the council station, the debate grew heated. We must show these humans that rejection has consequences, said one representative, a tall being with 4 arms. Send warships. No, argued another, a small furry creature. If they are advanced enough to question us, perhaps we should try a different approach. Zulfurik watched with growing satisfaction as the normally unified council divided into factions. For centuries, his people had followed council rules while secretly resenting their power. Now these humans had unintentionally given him an opportunity. I propose we reconsider not just our approach to Earth, Axel Thurik announced, standing for the first time in 50 years of council membership, but our approach to all matters. The chamber fell silent. No one had ever suggested changing the council's core methods. The humans reveal a flaw in our system, he continued. We claim to be a cooperative of equals, yet we demand immediate submission from new species. Is this not contradictory? Around the chamber, representatives from species that had joined the council under pressure began to nod in agreement. On Earth, unaware of the political earthquake they had caused, humanity prepared for the worst. New defense satellites launched daily. Military recruitment doubled. Scientists like Morgan worked to understand alien technology from the smallest scraps of information. Captain Winters stood on the bridge of the Defiant during its first test flight. Take us around the moon, he ordered. Let's see what this ship can do. As Earth focused inward on defense, the ripples of their diplomatic rejection spread across the stars. The Council, unchanging for thousands of years, began to crack along ancient lines of tension. Species that had obeyed without question began to ask why. And Axel Thurik smiled as he watched centuries of carefully hidden resentment bubble to the surface of galactic politics. The humans had provided the perfect opportunity for change, all because they had done the unthinkable. They had said no to the Council. 6 months after the first alien contact, Earth had changed. New defensive satellites circled the planet. Military bases expanded. Regular people stored extra food and water, just in case. The brief meeting with aliens had made everyone realize how vulnerable Earth really was. In space, far beyond Earth's solar system, the Galactic Council was falling apart. After thousands of years of unity, 3 different groups now fought for control. Some wanted to force humans to obey through military action. Others thought new diplomatic methods should be tried. The third group believed the entire council system was broken and needed to be rebuilt. Council Elder Kira Nex, a tall being with silver skin and wise eyes, stood before the remaining loyal council members. "We must try again with the humans," she said. "Our first approach clearly failed. We need to explain our intentions better." Many council members nodded in agreement. Kira Nex was respected for her 900 years of diplomatic service. "I will lead a new delegation to Earth," she announced. "We will bring gifts of knowledge and show true diplomatic respect." Her ship, the Peaceful Accord left the council station 2 days later. It carried 20 diplomats from different species, all chosen for their skills in handling unusual situations. What Kira Nex didn't know was that a group from her own species had decided the council was too weak. They planned to stop her mission and take control themselves. 3 days into the journey, attack ships surrounded the Peaceful Accord. They were smaller but heavily armed, and their crews were loyal to the radical faction. "Surrender your ship, Elder," came the message from the lead attacker. "The time for soft diplomacy is over." Kira Nex ordered her crew to send emergency signals on all frequencies. "We will not surrender to radicals," she told her frightened diplomats. "Help will come." The distress signal traveled across space. No one expected it would reach Earth, but humanity had been busy. Engineer Paul Garner had designed and built a new deep space monitoring network, specifically to detect alien communications. When the signal arrived, he was the first human to hear it. "There's a fight happening out there," Garner told his supervisor, pointing at the data on his screen. "Some kind of alien civil war, and it's getting closer to our solar system." The supervisor immediately called military command. Within an hour, Captain Winters of the Defiant was ordered to investigate but not engage. "Just look and report back," General Phillips told him. "Do not make contact with any aliens." Winters nodded, but he had a feeling things wouldn't be that simple. The Defiant could now travel faster than light, thanks to adaptations of alien technology glimpsed during first contact. They reached the location of the distress signal in 14 hours. What they found was a diplomatic vessel under attack by 6 smaller ships. The diplomatic ship was damaged, venting atmosphere from its lower decks. "Sir, we're receiving a message," said the communications officer. "It's in the same format as the first alien contact." On screen appeared a silver-skinned alien, her face marked with what might have been age. "Unknown vessel, we are a diplomatic mission seeking peaceful contact with Earth. Rogue elements are attempting to prevent our mission. We request assistance." Winters hesitated. His orders were clear: observe only. But the diplomatic ship was clearly losing the fight. "What do we do, Captain?" asked his first officer. Winters made a decision that would change galactic history again. "We help them. Prepare weapons and target the attacking ships only." The Defiant moved into position and fired warning shots across the attackers' paths. The Earth ship was smaller than the alien vessels but showed unexpected speed and precision. The attackers, shocked by the appearance of a human ship so far from Earth, hesitated. That moment of confusion gave Kira Nex's damaged ship time to move behind the Defiant for protection. "This is Captain Frank Winters of Earth," he broadcast to all ships. "We are responding to a distress call. Stand down your weapons immediately." The attacking ships regrouped, clearly discussing this unexpected development. Finally, they turned and disappeared into faster-than-light travel. Kiranex could hardly believe what had happened. The humans, the very species that had rejected Council contact, had come to her rescue. This made no sense according to any Council diplomatic model. As the Defiant Asterisk helped secure the damaged diplomatic vessel, Kiranex realized that everything the Council thought it knew about humans might be wrong. The damaged alien ship followed the Defiant Asterisk back to Earth. Military leaders argued about whether this was safe, but Captain Winters insisted the aliens needed medical help. The President finally agreed to allow them into orbit around Earth's moon. Dr. Alice Morgan was called to join the team that would meet with the aliens. Her discoveries about alien technology had made her valuable. The government had built a special meeting station on the moon where humans and aliens could talk safely. Remember, her supervisor told her, share nothing about our defense systems. Morgan nodded, but she was more interested in learning than in keeping secrets. When she entered the meeting room, she saw 5 different alien species sitting around a large table. The silver-skinned alien, Elder Kiranex, stood and bowed slightly. "Thank you for saving our lives," Kiranex said. This was unexpected behavior from a species that rejected Council contact. "We didn't reject contact," Morgan explained. "We rejected your timeline and your conditions. Humans help others in trouble, even strangers." This seemed to confuse the aliens. They talked among themselves in strange clicking sounds before turning back to the humans. "Perhaps there was a misunderstanding," Kiranex admitted. "The Council has existed for 50,000 years. In all that time, every new species either begged for our help or was too primitive to understand our offer. Your reaction was new." On the other side of the room, Ambassador Olivia Patterson listened carefully. The President had appointed her to speak for Earth, and she knew this meeting was important for humanity's future. "We want peaceful relations," Patterson said, "but as equals, not as a lower member of your Council." Kiranex nodded slowly. "This may be possible, but you should know that the Council is no longer united. Our rescue mission was attacked by our own people. Many believe the Council has grown too controlling." While they talked on the moon, Captain Winters received a new assignment. The aliens had offered to let one human officer join a galactic patrol ship to learn about space beyond our solar system. Winters chose Bill Wright, his best security officer, for the job. "Learn everything you can," Winters told Wright during their final meeting. "But trust no one completely." Wright nodded. He was excited but nervous about being the first human to travel far into the galaxy. He would join the alien ship the next day. Back at the moon meeting, Dr. Morgan and Ambassador Patterson made an important discovery. The translation system they were using was flawed, creating misunderstandings. Working together with the aliens, they created a better system. The initial contact failed because the Council expected either gratitude or confusion. Morgan explained to Patterson after analyzing the new translations. "They've never met a species that was cautious but capable. They didn't know how to interpret our response." With better communication, Earth learned troubling facts about the Council. Many smaller species were treated poorly, forced to provide resources while receiving little help. The Council's unity had been a mask hiding many problems. Far away from Earth, Grand Marshal Dex Care prepared his battle fleet. A large, reptilian alien with a scar across his face, he believed only force would solve the human problem. "These humans have caused too much trouble," he told his commanders. "Their defiance has infected other species with dangerous ideas. 3 systems have already declared independence from the Council." He pointed to a map of Earth's solar system. "We will make an example of them. The fleet leaves in 30 days. Meanwhile, Bill Wright boarded the alien patrol ship. The captain, a 4-armed being named Krell, welcomed him with what seemed like friendliness. "You are the first human to travel beyond your system," Krell said. "You will see many wonders." Wright nodded politely, then gasped as the ship accelerated to speeds he had never imagined possible. Through the viewing window, stars blurred into lines of light. As they traveled, Wright learned that many alien species had been watching the situation with humans closely. Some saw Earth as a troublemaker, but others viewed humans as potential allies against Council control. "Your people did something remarkable," Krell told him privately. "You made the mighty Council uncertain. That has never happened before." Wright wasn't sure if this was good or bad news for Earth, but as the ship carried him deeper into the galaxy, he realized humanity had stumbled into a much larger conflict than anyone back home understood. Earth's scientists and engineers worked day and night to prepare defenses. Using the information shared by Kira Nex and her diplomatic team, they built new weapons and shields for the coming attack. They knew their technology was still far behind the Council's, but humans had always been good at finding creative solutions when facing stronger enemies. Engineer Paul Garner led the team that placed defensive platforms throughout the solar system. These platforms looked like small moons but contained powerful weapons based on alien designs. "Will these be enough?" asked a young engineer working with Garner. "Probably not," Garner admitted, "but they might surprise the aliens enough to make them think twice." On the edge of the solar system, sensors detected the arrival of Grand Marshal Dex Carr's fleet. It was massive, over 50 large warships and hundreds of smaller attack vessels. Captain Winters and the crew of the Defiant Asterisk watched the alien ships appear one by one. "They expect us to surrender as soon as we see their numbers," Winters said to his crew. "Let's show them that humans don't give up easily." Earth had only 7 ships that could travel in deep space, plus the defensive platforms. Against Dex Carr's fleet, it seemed hopeless. But Ambassador Patterson had a plan that didn't rely on military strength. She asked for permission to broadcast a message directly to the alien fleet. The president agreed, though many military leaders thought it was a waste of time. "What can words do against warships?" General Phillips complained. "More than you might think," Patterson replied calmly. When Dex Carr's fleet took position just beyond Mars, they sent a simple message: surrender and accept Council authority, or be destroyed. Instead of the military response they expected, they received a video broadcast from Ambassador Patterson. She spoke directly to the crews of the alien ships, not their leaders. "People of the Galactic Fleet," she began, "we know many of you serve because you must, not because you believe in this attack. We know the Council has kept secrets from you." She explained how the Council had treated many species unfairly for centuries, taking resources while giving little in return. She shared information provided by Kira Nex about how Council leaders lived in luxury, while ordinary citizens struggled. "We don't want war," Patterson continued. "We want fair treatment for all species, including yours. Ask yourselves, are you fighting for freedom and safety, or for the comfort of leaders who hide behind your sacrifice?" Dex Carr ordered the broadcast blocked, but it was too late. The message had reached most ships in the fleet. On 3 large battleships, crew members began questioning their commanders. They had seen problems in the Council system, but never heard them spoken about so openly. The captain of the battleship Righteous Duty locked himself in his quarters after his crew refused to prepare weapons. On the Eternal Vigilance fighting broke out between those loyal to Dex Carr and those who wanted to hear more from the humans. Dex Carr watched in rage as his perfect battle formation fell into chaos. He had expected a quick victory against primitive humans. Instead, he faced growing rebellion within his own fleet. Enough of this, he shouted to his loyal commanders. "We will attack now, with the ships that remain faithful." 20 warships broke from the main fleet and accelerated toward Earth. Dex Carr led them in his flagship, determined to crush the humans before more doubt could spread. Captain Winters prepared the Defiant and Earth's other ships for battle. They were outnumbered, but they had positioned themselves carefully near the defensive platforms. "All ships, hold position," Winters ordered. "Let them come to us." But before Dex Carr's ships could reach Earth's defenses, something unexpected happened. 5 large warships from his own fleet moved to block his path. Their captains had decided to join the rebels. At the same moment, 7 new ships appeared from faster-than-light travel. They were council vessels, but not part of Dexkar's fleet. They belonged to species who had secretly opposed the council leadership for years and now saw their chance to act. "This is Elder Kiranex," came a broadcast from the lead ship. "Grand Marshal Dexkar has exceeded his authority. This attack was never approved by the full council. Stand down immediately." Dexkar's carefully planned assault had transformed into confusion. His ships faced opposition from multiple directions: Earth's defenses ahead, rebellious council ships around him, and new arrivals behind him. What should have been an overwhelming display of council power had become a chaotic standoff with divided loyalties and uncertain outcomes. News of the failed attack on Earth spread quickly across the galaxy. Species that had obeyed the council for centuries began to question its authority. 17 different planets declared they would no longer follow council rules. The great system that had maintained order for 50,000 years was falling apart. On the council's central planet called Equilibrium, angry representatives shouted at each other in the grand meeting hall. Some blamed humans for the chaos. Others blamed council leaders for their harsh treatment of member worlds. "This is the end of civilization," cried one council elder, waving his 6 thin arms in the air. "No," replied another. "It is the end of control disguised as civilization." Dr. Alice Morgan and Ambassador Patterson had traveled to Equilibrium as part of a human observation team. They were supposed to learn about council government, but instead found themselves watching its collapse. When fighting broke out between different alien groups, they had to hide in the quarters of friendly council members. "I never expected this," Morgan whispered as they heard crashes and shouts from the hallway outside. "We wanted to join the galactic community, not destroy it." Patterson nodded. "We didn't destroy it. We just revealed the cracks that were already there." The moderate council members who sheltered the humans explained that many species had been unhappy for centuries. The council claimed to treat all members equally, but the oldest and most powerful species made the real decisions. Newer members provided resources and received little in return. "Humans showed us something important," said a small, furry alien named Jix. "Your people refused to accept unfair terms. This gave others courage to question what they had accepted for too long." Back on Earth, Captain Winters worked with alien allies to strengthen planet's defenses. After the standoff with Dexkar's fleet, everyone knew that some council hardliners might still attack Earth. Winters found that aliens thought differently about space battles. They relied on overwhelming force and standard tactics. When he suggested surprise maneuvers and unorthodox strategies, his alien allies were confused at first, then impressed. "Your species thinks in unusual ways," said a tall, insect-like alien engineer. "You see possibilities we miss because of our traditional training." Engineer Paul Garner made another important discovery while working with alien technology. The Council's ships and weapons were very advanced, but they hadn't changed much in 1,000 years. The aliens followed old designs without trying to improve them. "Why haven't you updated these systems?" Garner asked an alien technician. "This power converter could be 30% more efficient with a simple modification." The alien seemed shocked by the suggestion. "The designs are proven and approved. Changing them would require council permission." Garner and his team began making improvements to the defensive platforms and to Earth's small fleet of ships. They combined human creativity with alien technology in ways the Council had never tried. The results were impressive: weapons with more power, shields that lasted longer, and engines that used less energy. Bill Wright, still traveling on the alien patrol ship, sent regular reports back to Earth. He had visited 12 different planets and seen growing unrest on each one. Some alien species welcomed news about Earth's defiance. Others feared the chaos spreading through the galaxy. Wright's alien friend Krell explained that the Council had provided stability for a very long time. Many ordinary aliens were frightened by change, even if the old system was unfair. The galaxy has forgotten how to handle disagreement, Krell said. The Council made all important decisions. Now everyone must learn to govern themselves again. On Equilibrium, the fighting grew worse. 4 entire species walked out of the Council permanently. Buildings that had stood for thousands of years were damaged or destroyed in the riots. The beautiful gardens surrounding the Council buildings burned. Morgan and Patterson watched the destruction from the window of their safe room. They felt partly responsible for the chaos, yet knew Earth had only spoken truth to power. What happens next? Morgan asked quietly. Patterson considered the question carefully. We help build something better. The old system is falling, but humans are good at creating new beginnings from chaos. 18 months after first contact, the galaxy looked very different. The Galactic Council still existed, but now it was just one of several competing groups. Former council members had formed new alliances based on shared interests or beliefs. Some wanted strong central control, while others preferred looser cooperation. Earth had become an unexpected center for galactic diplomacy. Ambassador Patterson established a neutral meeting ground in Geneva, Switzerland, where representatives from all factions could talk safely. These meetings became known as the Earth Conferences. Why do they all come here? Asked Patterson's assistant during a break between difficult negotiations. Many of these species have better technology and older civilizations than ours. Patterson smiled. Because we're new to all this. We don't have centuries of grudges and alliances. They see us as neutral, and sometimes a neutral ground is the only place enemies can meet. The latest Earth Conference had representatives from 22 different species. Some had been enemies for thousands of years, yet they sat at the same table and talked. Progress was slow, but it was still progress. Captain Winters, now promoted to Admiral, faced a different challenge. Earth had formed a joint security force with 12 former Council species. Their ships patrolled trade routes and helped planets dealing with pirate attacks or natural disasters. Our fleet is small but effective, Winters told the President during his monthly report. The aliens are learning to appreciate human flexibility in crisis situations. The joint fleet operated differently from the old Council forces. Each ship had crew members from multiple species. They shared knowledge and combined different approaches to solve problems. When faced with an emergency, they didn't wait for orders from distant leaders. They made decisions based on their best judgment. Dr. Morgan's work had also expanded. She now led the largest cultural exchange program in human history. Scientists from Earth worked alongside alien experts, studying everything from medicine to physics. After centuries of isolation, humans were catching up quickly. Aliens think differently than we do, Morgan explained to a group of new exchange students. They have blind spots in their thinking, just as we do. By working together, we overcome those limitations. One of Morgan's most interesting discoveries was how Council science had stagnated. For thousands of years, research had followed strict guidelines. Creative thinking was discouraged. When human scientists suggested new approaches, alien researchers were often shocked, then excited by the possibilities. Across the former Council worlds, ordinary aliens were experiencing major changes in their lives. Species that had always been told what to do now had to make their own decisions. Some planets fell into conflict as different groups fought for control. Others managed peaceful transitions to new forms of government. Many alien civilizations sent observers to Earth to study human political systems. They were fascinated by democracy, even with all its flaws. The idea that leaders should answer to ordinary citizens seemed revolutionary to species used to rule by elite councils or hereditary leaders. Bill Wright had returned to Earth after his extended mission in space. He now worked as an advisor to aliens trying to understand humans. Many still found human behavior confusing and unpredictable. "Your people make decisions based on emotions as well as logic," complained one frustrated alien diplomat. "Yes, we do," Wright agreed. "And sometimes that leads to bad choices. But it also helps us understand each other and work together even when we disagree." Back on the former Council headquarters world, the fighting had finally stopped. The beautiful city that had been the center of galactic government lay partly in ruins. Species that had lived under council rule for millennia were now trying to build new lives. The former Grand Marshal Dexcare sat in a small room, writing his memoirs. After his failed attack on Earth, he had lost all power and influence. Now he tried to understand where things had gone wrong. "We thought order came from control," he wrote. "The humans showed us that real stability comes from cooperation and compromise. We saw their rejection of our authority as weakness, but it was actually strength. They knew what we had forgotten, that forcing others to obey is not the same as earning their respect." Across the stars, a new galactic order was slowly taking shape. It was messier and less efficient than the old council system, but it was also more fair and adaptable. And at its center, unexpectedly, was Earth, a planet that had been unknown to the galaxy just 2 years earlier. 5 years had passed since the silver alien ship first appeared in Earth's orbit. The galaxy had transformed in ways no one could have predicted. The rigid Galactic Council was gone, replaced by a new organization called the Interstellar Cooperative. Unlike the Council, which ruled through power and tradition, the cooperative was built on mutual respect and fair exchange. The cooperative headquarters was located on Earth's moon. The large, dome-shaped building contained meeting rooms where species from across the galaxy could work together as equals. Above the main entrance were words in 23 different languages, all saying, "Progress through cooperation." Admiral Winters stood on the observation deck of his command ship, watching as vessels from many worlds moved through space around him. His fleet now included ships from 30 different species, all working together to maintain peace. "Admiral, the diplomatic shuttle is requesting permission to dock," said his communications officer. "Permission granted," Winters replied. "And please inform Ambassador Patterson that I'll meet her personally." Patterson had spent the last 3 years traveling between worlds, helping former enemies find ways to work together. Her reputation for fairness had made her one of the most respected humans in the galaxy. Today she was returning from a particularly difficult negotiation between two species that had fought for centuries over mining rights to a shared star system. "How did it go?" Winters asked when Patterson arrived on his ship. She smiled tiredly. "They signed the agreement. Both sides got what they needed, though neither got everything they wanted. That's how compromise works." On Earth, Dr. Morgan's cultural exchange program had grown into a major galactic university. Students from hundreds of worlds studied together, sharing knowledge and perspectives. Earth science had advanced rapidly through cooperation with alien researchers, solving problems that had stumped both humans and aliens when working alone. Engineer Paul Garner was putting final touches on humanity's first completely original faster-than-light ship. Unlike earlier vessels that used modified alien designs, this ship incorporated new ideas that even the most advanced Council engineers had never considered. The old Council built amazing technology, then stopped improving it. Garner explained to visitors touring the construction site. They forgot that progress never ends. There's always a better way to do something if you're willing to experiment. The ship's main control room contained stations designed for operators from 5 different species, each contributing their unique strengths to the crew. The name painted on the hull was *Unity*, reflecting the ship's mixed heritage of ideas and technologies. Across the galaxy, worlds that had been under Council rule for thousands of years were finding their own paths. Some had adopted versions of human democracy. Others created new systems of government based on their own cultural traditions. The galaxy was more diverse and less ordered than before, but also more vibrant and innovative. Not everyone welcomed these changes. The hardliners who had once controlled the Council gathered their remaining forces for one final attempt to restore the old order. Led by former Council elites who had lost power and wealth, they attacked Earth with a fleet of 30 ships. The attack was met by a response from 23 different species, all now part of the Cooperative Defense Network. Ships from worlds that had once been bitter enemies fought side by side to protect Earth. The battle was brief and decisive. The hardliners' fleet, outmatched by superior numbers and technology, surrendered after less than an hour of fighting. Their leader, a cousin of the disgraced Dexcare, was brought to the cooperative headquarters to sign formal surrender documents. As representatives gathered to witness the ceremony, Commander John Miller walked quietly into the back of the room. Now retired from active service, he had been invited as an honored guest. It was Miller who had first rejected the Council's demands for immediate submission 5 years ago, setting all these changes in motion. "Did you ever imagine it would lead to this?" asked Susan Clark, the xenolinguistics specialist who had also been present at first contact. She now headed the cooperative's Cultural Understanding Division. Miller shook his head. "I was just trying to buy us time to understand what we were getting into. I had no idea we would end up remaking the galaxy." "That's the irony," Clark said. "We thought our greatest strength was our military power or our technology, but it was our diplomatic flexibility all along, our willingness to question, to demand better terms, to insist on mutual respect."